Mr. Bob Pepper owned some land along a river. However, his real love has always been for the plants and animals that live on his place. It had always been a great spot for wildlife, but he wanted to make it even better. So he dug out several ponds in the lowland near the river. He made islands in some of the ponds. Sometimes animals bother nesting birds. To help protect the birds, Mr. Pepper made islands where the birds could nest. He made sure that the water was deep enough to keep animals from easily getting to the nesting birds. He didn't make the water too deep for plants to grow. The water plants provide food for wildlife. He made raised nesting platforms to give birds protection. He made birdhouses for all kinds of birds, including these swallows. He also put out food for birds and other animals. Mr. Pepper made an ideal place for wildlife to live. He made these ponds because he realized that people are using many of the places where wildlife lived at one time. He wanted to give something back to wildlife. And now, more and more animals are attracted to the ponds. Deer find food and water at the ponds. Canada geese make Pepper's ponds their home. Here they can feed, bathe, preen, and raise their young. Some pairs build their nests on the ground on the islands. Others like the safety of the metal platforms. This Canada goose has just hatched out 4 goslings. She leaves the nest, but the little ones are afraid to jump. They must jump because the adults don't feed them. She goes back and forth to show them how easy it is and to coax them down. Their bodies are soft. The jump won't hurt them. Watch closely now as they jump. Here goes one. And another. And another one. And another. They finally make the jump and are all together as they look for their first food. Ducks nest in grass near the ponds. A mother duck brings her babies down to the water for the first time. A pond is an ideal place for the young to find food. Brightly colored wood ducks live on the ponds. Wood ducks build their nests in the large birdhouses Mr. Pepper has put in the trees near the ponds. Many kinds of living things make the pond their home. Toads and frogs live here. They lay their eggs in the water, and the young grow up in the water. Blackbirds feed on insects. They nest in the cattails. Blue herons nest in the trees around the pond. Beaver live in the ponds. They build small dams and help Mr. Pepper by making more ponds along the creek. Otter visit the ponds. Not many people can make large ponds as Mr. Pepper has done, but there are many things that each of us can do. Our large cities and homes have taken over areas that were once home to many kinds of wildlife. Most kinds of wildlife can't live in large cities, but some kinds of birds can live there. A bird feeder can be made from a milk carton. 2 plastic containers with the sides cut out can also make a good bird feeder. These feeders can be used almost anywhere, even near an apartment house window. People make all kinds of birdhouses. Even if you have a small yard, you can grow plants that birds can use for shelter, food, and as a place for a nest. Birds need clean water to drink. They also like water that is only an inch or 2 deep for a bath. You must be careful when you put out food and water for birds. Be sure that it doesn't become a place where cats can catch them. Cats are natural hunters, so place food and water where cats can't easily sneak up on birds. Some kinds of birds like crumbs and seeds. Other kinds, like this woodpecker, eat suet, or fat trimmed from meat. Hummingbirds like sweetened water. If you live where there are chipmunks or squirrels, you may enjoy feeding and watching them. If you live at the edge of a city or in the country, you might be surprised at all the different kinds of animals that will come for food, water, and shelter. In winter, when food may be scarce, the food you put out may be very important to wildlife. It's fun to see what comes to the places you've made. People have taken away much of the natural home of wildlife. It is time to make sure that wildlife has a place to live. Many schools have groups of young people who use their spare time to make better places for wildlife to live. Young people provide food and water. And they make places for wildlife around their homes and in their own backyards. In a way, they are doing the same thing Mr. Pepper does. We need more Mr. Peppers of all ages to protect and care for natural areas and all wild creatures.